I would like for you all to settle in and close your eyes, if you will, for a minute, and let us turn within. I'm going to read a quote from Elaine Pagels' The Gospels of Thomas, with a little bit of me thrown in there to set the stage for the message that's been revealed to me this morning. And it's based on Howard Thurman's treatment of the signature of God. There is a light within each person, and it lights up the whole universe. If it does not shine, there is darkness. I will let my light shine. Now, please repeat after me. You don't have to unmute yourself. There is a light within each person, and it lights up the whole universe. If it does not shine, there is darkness. I will let my light shine. Again, good morning. The students this weekend, as has been noted by several people before me, took a deep dive into the understanding of the presence of God within them and in the whole of creation. The song you just heard by Wintley Phipps is one of my favorite songs. I kind of consider it my theme music, one of the songs that I use before I speak, because the lyrics speak to the beauty, balance, and harmony and order of creation, the Creator, and the ultimate signature of the Creator. You know, in this fast-paced, digital, and noise-polluted 21st century world, the beauty, balance, and harmony that we should readily see all around us is muted and seems to play in the background. The experience of the presence of the Creator in everyday life has been relegated to a to-do list. You know, we have to make a special effort sometimes, we think, to go hiking, camping, walk on the beach in search of an inspirational, perfect sunrise or sunset to commune with the Creator and our inner divinity. That's okay, and an experience, you know, can be had that way. But I submit to you that you don't have to go somewhere special. You don't have to go to a beach or a forest. That you stand always in the presence of God. And sometimes when we return from these retreats and intensives to the temporal beat of our lives, again, there's a muting of the presence of God. You don't have to pay to go somewhere special or experience to, or behold the divine presence or signature. Wherever you stand, wherever you are, my friends, I tell you, you are in the presence of the Creator. It's even within your neighbors. So to realize that you're part of the whole of creation does not mean you have to do a specific ritual or prayer. You just simply have to be present wherever you are. Now, there's a little bit of work that goes with this. I shouldn't say a little bit of work, actually a lot of work. Of course, you must stand firm in the reality that the Creator is within you and you're part of the whole of creation. This realization is grounded in a certain clarity resulting from a disciplined spiritual practice. And sometimes, without any effort, the Creator wants you to take note, only you. Then you find yourself ensconced in an experience where there is a special message just for you. Howard Thurman said, "The incidents of a man's life may, within a moment's notice, catapult him into the midst of an experience which is completely irradiated with the presence of God. And you may hear his voice say, 'Take off your shoes, for the place you are now standing is holy ground.'" The place you are now standing is holy ground. What is Dr. Thurman saying here? I think he's being instructive and asking us to examine how we walk in the world or reflect on some experience where we have actually been irradiated by God. I've had such an experience. I've had actually many experiences, but one sticks out most in my mind where I was actually irradiated by God. And Dr. Kelly and Jane was on a golf course. Golf has been a theme with some of us. One evening while playing golf by myself, as I often did at the United States Soldiers Home in Washington, which happens to sit high atop a hill, and there you can look back down on the entire city. I've taken my daughter Amber there of Washington, and you can see the iconic sites. You can see the Washington Monument, you can see the Capitol, and it's just a beautiful vista, and it's transforming. You should know that this site is a special place. It's the summer White House of Abraham Lincoln, and where he wrote the Emancipation Proclamation. And it was also from this site where Mr. Lincoln signaled the Grand Army of the Republic to cross the Potomac to stop the advance of Confederate General Jubal Early's advance into Washington from Rockville, Maryland, where I actually now sit. So it was sacred ground for me. I just stand in awe of that place because the Emancipation was written there. More importantly, it's also a place where I can go and play golf by myself and be with myself. Just commune with myself, commune with nature and God. It's not one of these finely manicured courses. It's kind of not kept up so well. It's more like a cow pasture, but it has a certain beauty. And it just makes the solo golf experience just richer for me. So one particular evening, I was up there playing, and I rounded the turn to the second hole, which offers this unobstructed view and vista of the western part of the city. And you can see the National Cathedral, which is a beautiful, towering edifice. And it sits on a hill even higher than the one we're on. It's one of the top three highest hills in Washington. I think Capitol Hill is the highest hill. And so you can just see that cathedral just sitting there. It's beautiful. It's meant to make people stand in awe of it and just behold it. And as I looked towards the western sky and the silhouette, because the sun was setting around the cathedral and it loomed larger than life, I was instantly entranced by this sunset. From the very moment I noticed it, this awesome celestial event just held me in place. I heard or saw nothing. It was as if all life around me ceased. From the blare of the sirens making their way to the hospital across the street, where I happened to serve as a chaplain. And I would always take note of those sirens from the ambulances because if I were on duty, I would have to answer them. The helicopters and planes flying overhead and the pulsating stream of the incessant traffic on North Capitol Street faded into the background. It was as if all life around me stopped. It was as if the great conductor, the creator of all life, raised a baton, commanding the world to quiet down, for he was getting ready to conduct a masterful piece of music streamed directly from his mind and heart to mine. From his mind and heart to mine. And streaming from that western sky were bright slices of orange and yellow with shades of purple mixed in, and minute by minute those colors would shift and transform right before my eyes. Suddenly, shades of red would appear and blend in with yellow and orange and purple and fade, only to let notes of green and blue shine through. As this awesome celestial symphony of color began to unfold, I actually think I could hear music. I thought I heard transition jazz and classical masters like Coltrane, Berg, Bach, and Beethoven, with a taste of Jimi Hendrix thrown within purple haze, while I kissed the sky. It was like they were inside of me, playing inside of me. It was music I could only hear. It was pulsating, reverberating deep within. That's right, the great conductor himself was playing only for me. This was my moment. This was my experience with the divine. The woodwinds, the violins and strings, along with the alto saxes, continued to play with the shifting shades of color from the celestial palette, performing a symphony of color. If you were blessed enough to have been there, my friends, and if you listened carefully enough, and I'll say it again, Amber, Eve, Samara, and Stacy, if you listen carefully enough, you could even hear Louis Armstrong singing, What a wonderful world. And when that sunset along with the symphony of color faded and my awareness returned to the course, I could hear the golf pro calling me. Jay, the course is closed. What's wrong with you? Are you okay? I've been calling you for a few minutes. I waved, noting it to him that I was okay. And I thought to myself, I hope he did not miss that symphonic sunset. As I made my way back to my car, the golfers that were playing were gathered, drinking a cold one, as we often did, and engaging in the usual post-round chat about their game, women, politics, work, life in general, the typical golf guy stuff. I could not participate as I usually did because those heavenly notes that I had just consumed were still pulsating within me, and they left my entire being pulsating and reverberating. It was an imprint or a signature that God left deep inside of me, and I was not ready to let it fade from my awareness or consciousness. It was strange because somehow these guys that I played golf with or saw several times a week for years, maybe a decade and a half, seemed different. I was touched by the Creator, and that made me see different. And I just wanted to enjoy them, just being real. Even though we shared the same sacred ground that evening, we each experienced the divine presence or signature in our own unique way. I'll close, my friends, with this quote from Howard Thurman. And I want you to walk away with this. Take it into your heart and think about it. There's magic all around us, in the rocks, the trees, and the minds of men. And he who strikes the rock aright may find them where he will. There can be no thing that does not have the signature of God, the creator of life, and the living substance out of which all particular manifestations arise. I will let Louis Armstrong do the benediction. Let your light shine.